Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I sort of wanted to do a countdown to give people time to come into the stream. And so I'm getting ready to introduce our guest for today. Before I do that, I am Maya Acosta. I am here in Dallas, Texas. Our organization is called Plantbased DFW. My husband, Dr. Riz, and I used to do a lot of events here in the Dallas area. And now we've gone virtual with our podcast. We do a lot more interviews with people all over. And also now I have the segment called Cooking with Maya. And I'm really excited because today we're going to be cooking Vietnamese spring rolls. And let me introduce you to our guest. Now, Dr. Ann Cartini has actually been on our show before on the podcast. We had the opportunity to interview her. And she's a plant-based dentist in California. And what I loved about speaking with her when we had the opportunity to talk to her on the podcast is that I learned so much about the organization that she works for, Redding Rancheria Health System. And she can speak more about that. She spoke to us also about how she can actually diagnose health conditions just by looking at dental health. But we also learned that dental health can be affected by pre-existing conditions and also the foods that we eat. So Dr. Ann is here to help us learn how to make vegan Vietnamese spring rolls. I can't wait to hear more about that. And I want to go back to mentioning that she's going to talk about Happi Hippo Plant Organics, which is her company that she started last year in the middle of the pandemic. And it's an eco-vegan dental and body care company, which consists of biodegradable lip balms, toothbrushes, dental floss, and soaps. And so let's go ahead and welcome Dr. Ann. Hi, Dr. Ann.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun.
I'm excited to have you. You know, I said that we were both, we interviewed you not long ago and we talked about dental health. But as people are coming in, maybe if you'd like to share anything else about what we covered, who you work for, Happi Hippo. And I know that you also went plant-based because of health conditions that you had.
Exactly. So, yes, as you mentioned, I work at Redding Rancheria Health System, and they have an amazing wellness program. It was actually them who inspired me to look into my health. Prior to that, I was eating very poor foods, highly processed foods, a lot of meat, a lot of dairy, milk, cheese was my staple. And so I just basically ate whatever was convenient so that I could go back to either studying or taking care of patients. And I did notice that over time I developed a bunch of chronic inflammatory diseases. I actually, I'll talk about it in a little bit some more, but I actually am recovering from endometriosis surgery, which I had about 2 weeks ago. So I'm feeling okay. I'm a little sore still, but long story short, yes, I was diagnosed with a bunch of health issues at Redding Rancheria because they were all about, wellness, overall wellness, not just work life is important, but you want to make sure you take care of your body, your mind, your spirit in order to be effective with what you do. And I do have a passion with taking care of people, but I ironically didn't take care of myself. And so my primary care provider at the time, when she saw my labs, I had high cholesterol, hypertension, I had irritable bowel syndrome, among other things. And she said, Ann, if you don't change your diet and, specifically the plant-based whole food vegan diet, you're going to have to go on medications. And so thankfully I had a choice at that time and I decided to go plant-based. And I am happy to say that, of course, with the grace of God, Jesus is I believe that he is the reason for all good things. And he's provided the food that we have. And so with him and with the diet, I was able to reverse almost everything. And now when I say almost everything, unfortunately, some of the damage had been done. I had mentioned that I recently had surgery at UCSF. for laparoscopic myomectomy and removal of endometriosis because the lesions were quite large. And even though with the, I'll definitely continue the plant-based diet because those lesions can come back. And so with maintaining this diet, you can prevent that from coming back. And so, yeah, I'm here and I'm excited. I'm gonna share with you some vegan Vietnamese food with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so I want to pan to our food because we're going to be switching between our faces and our foods. We both are using side cameras, but I wanted to say thank you for being here because yes, you just had surgery and you're still recovering, but you made time to join us. So I'm going to switch real quick to my camera so that you can see my food. And I basically, Dr. Ann basically is helping me. She's going to teach me how to roll. So I have baked, and she'll talk more about this. I have baked tofu, and I have the vermicelli ready to go, and all this other stuff that she kind of guided me through in terms of how to prepare the ingredients. And I'll let her kind of take over and talk about all the things that we're going to do here today to teach you how to make the Vietnamese rolls. Let's switch over to her camera, and there's her setup. And so, and by the way, you can always visit this video again. Let's, I'm going to switch my camera around. I just wanted to show you what I have going on right now. Dr. Ann,
yes.
Tell us a little bit about Vietnamese rolls. I had asked you to come on because you often post on your Instagram account food on a regular basis. And I saw that you make your spring rolls so nicely. And so I wanted to see if you can kind of teach me how to make a healthy, delicious peanut sauce. And then also teach me how to roll. And we talked about, you and I both prepared. So I brought the brown rice spring rolls.
Great.
Yeah. So I would love for you to share more about how, when do you eat spring rolls? And also we both have these trays. You can talk about how we're going to use this tray and then we can get started. I think we got almost everything ready. And I think you're going to teach us how to slice and cut some of the ingredients as well.
Yes. So, so thank you, Maya. I know you're going to post the ingredients. So I'm going to kind of show you guys my process of making spring rolls. Yes, it is a traditional Vietnamese dish. I grew up making these with my family. They typically do include pork, prawns, mint, cilantro, lots of different fresh vegetables, and rice noodles. My version, of course, is going to be plant-based. For me, the key thing is really the peanut sauce. I grew up eating two different sauces. One is the traditional peanut sauce, which I'm going to show you how I make it veganized. And then also another dipping dish, a dipping sauce called nuc cham, which typically consists of fish sauce, vinegar. It's like a tangy, sweet, sour, spicy sauce. And thankfully I found a vegan version. So I'm going to switch to my other camera right now, just so that you guys can see how what my flow is. And so today for my protein, I'm going to use organic tofu.
Dr. Ann, I'm sorry to interrupt you. For people that are interested, I just posted. You can see right here under our screen, you can see the link to your blog that has this entire recipe, but I also just put it in the chat. If you didn't see it in the chat, I'll post it again. So anyone that's interested in seeing the ingredients and following along, you can go to her blog. And hello, Paola. She's on as well. Paola was pozole with me last week, and I think I ate pozole almost every day. So anyway, please continue.
Okay. So I try to get organic, non-GMO tofu. So I just got these at Costco, and I didn't quite blot it out, but it's okay because I'm going to cook it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do like to make it nice and crispy in the pan. So I have a little non-stick pan right here, and I have a little burner. which I'm going to turn on right now because this is going to probably take the longest. In terms of making spring rolls, it doesn't take very long. And as a matter of fact, I like to prepare my ingredients ahead of time. So you see this block, I'm just going to cut them into thin slices, maybe about 1/2 inch in thickness. And then I want to be able to fit them in my spring rolls. And so you see that size right there. I'm going to actually cut this into 4. So I'm going to go like this and then like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these in the pan. So it's, and then I just season these with a little bit of salt and pepper. Like I said, the hero for me are the sauces, the peanut sauce and the sweet and sour sauce. I'm going to show you how to make in just a little bit. Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cut some vegetables with you guys.
And someone had just asked, or someone had made a comment that his spring roll. Sorry, my dog is acting up in the background. So so ASMR said that his spring rolls always tear up, his or her, I'm sorry. So maybe we can talk about what happens once we start rolling.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, spring rolls, I've noticed different brands can tear easier than others. I started buying this. I know you showed us this version. I've had, the key thing is, I guess you have to roll them really quickly. This one is a little bit more stretchy. I don't know. I don't know if that's really the right way to see it, but it's got this kind of, elasticity to them. So it's really a matter of finding the right brand, because you're right. Yeah, I agree with you. Some of them tear because they're much thinner, but the good quality ones, I know, let me see, there's a Three Ladies brand, which I recommend. I haven't found a brown rice version of Three Ladies, so if they could produce that, I'd be totally for that. But yeah, this is a little bit thicker. So, I mean, if they do rip, you can always double it up, and put another one. It'll be a little bit more rice paper, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. The good news is they'll still taste yummy. So I'm going to set this aside. We'll go over that again in just a moment. So while my tofu is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and bring my my cabbage. My favorite thing with spring rolls, it is such a great way to sneak in fresh vegetables. And as a matter of fact, my husband and I work 10-hour shifts. Of course, I'm not working today, but I actually prepare my vegetables in advance. And I have really colorful veggies like shredded carrot, cilantro, red cabbage, yellow bell peppers, anything that's really colorful. But the good news is you can use anything you want. So today I'm going to use these ingredients, but I'm going to show you how I cut my cabbage. So I'm just going to cut a little bit here. Okay. And I want this thin. So I just like that. Just to show you guys what I do, I already have my vegetables pre-cut, obviously, so I'll use from this pile over here. But so see,
Yeah,
thin.
I appreciate you showing that, because I think that's important to know how to dice at least that part, how to slice the.
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, we have a couple of comments. So we have Jen. I'm sorry if I missed it. Who says hi, and also hi, Dennis Jones. Oh, just wanted to. Okay, I'll let.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna shred this carrot, even though I have some on the side here. I just, easy peasy. If you have a grater, you just. Okay.
I feel like the grater is like the most unutilized or underutilized tool that we have in the kitchen, right? Because it can do so much.
Yeah, I actually like to grate my garlic and ginger. So you're right. It's pretty underutilized, but it's so handy. All right, so we got this. I'm gonna cut some bell pepper, and so how I like to cut this is you want to make sure it's nice and thin so they could fit nicely into your spring rolls. So here we go. Okay, so again, thin slices, and I just love. I think vegetables are so naturally pretty, don't you think, Maya? They're so gorgeous.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was going to show you why you're doing that too. So I like the bell peppers as well, and I like the little ones. You know, the little ones, they're so nice and sweet. And so I was debating, should I do the larger or the small, but I've gotten used to really using these, and you can find them almost anywhere, and they kind of have more of a sweetness.
Yeah.
You ever use the small ones?
I do like those. I get those at the farmer's market. I didn't get a chance to go to farmer's market this weekend, but they have the little ones, and I agree. They do have a sweeter taste to them. They taste very, very good. I agree. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the avocado. I'm sure everyone knows how to cut avocados, but we'll just pretend that you don't know how to do it. So I'm just gonna. I love putting different textures in my spring roll. So this is like a creamy texture that adds a nice touch to the spring rolls. And so I just use a butter knife, cut it into thin slices.
So I have 2 avocados over here, and you know, I've said before that when I lived in California, I never had a problem choosing avocados. I feel like I always lucked out, but out here, I don't know why in Texas, either they're overripe or underripe, or maybe I just don't know how to choose them, but this one I got lucky. This one was still a little too hard to open up.
Well, that's a good one, Maya. I like that. Nice.
And I was busy talking, so I missed how you'd use the butter knife to kind of individually.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna try this trick, you guys. This is random, but I saw this on TikTok. I usually take the knife and I have it down so you don't cut yourself. But okay, I'm gonna try this. So in live stream, I'm gonna pop this out. I'm gonna see if this works. Oh, it works, you guys. Cool.
I'm doing the same thing.
Together.
It was easy. That way you don't put yourself at risk.
Right. Do you do that, Maya? Do you pop it out like that?
I did. My hands are kind of messy right now, but I was able to do the same thing that you did.
Oh,
so,
okay. So I guess I'm a light egg. I learned it late then.
I used to cut it like this also, or stab the seed in this. But I like what you're doing because then the knife is not involved.
Yeah. So I'm just using a butter knife here, so I'm not at risk for cutting myself. But yeah, I just take the spoon after I slice it, and I go like this, scoop it out. Doesn't have to be perfect, but there you go. All right. So we got that. And let me see. Cilantro is easy. I like to use leafy greens. These ones are pretty small. If you have big lettuce, you can always cut them into slivers. I think with this, I'm just going to keep it as is and scrunch them. With cilantro, I cut them into smaller pieces. My husband actually doesn't like cilantro. So with spring rolls, I do make different variations in one setting because, you have all these different options. the options are endless when you make spring rolls. And so I make mine with cilantro, but for my husband's, I leave that out. I like to put green onions into, but today I'll just use what I have in front of us. Okay, so I'll put this here. That's for later. All right, let's see what else. So we've got, I think that's pretty much everything. So we've got our bell peppers. Of course, we'll use from this stash too. We've got our carrots. We've got avocado. We've got some greens and cilantro. All right, so I'm gonna flip my tofu over. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper. Really simple. I'm just gonna, just for flavor. And then I'm gonna flip these over. And after I flip these over, we're gonna make our sauces. Okay. So here's my tofu. And Maya, I noticed you baked yours. That's cool. You can, I don't use any oil, so I have a nonstick pan. I can just flip it over like that, and it's
yeah. I cannot say that I'm an expert in terms of cooking tofu, but what I did is I wanted to sear the top broil the top in the toaster oven, and then I baked it. So I'll have to think about the times that I did that. And then sliced it. I didn't want to do it on the stovetop because I typically don't use nonstick, so I don't have a nonstick. So I threw it in the oven. But that's good to know. We have two different ways of preparing this.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna try the baking method. How long do you bake yours for, Maya?
I want to say that I did it. Well, like I said, I broiled both sides first, so that's pretty brief. And then I did about 12 minutes, and then I kept kind of checking back to see if it looked cooked. But I lowered the temperature so that it would cook on the inside, and we'll see how it tastes.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it tastes great. I'm curious. Do you do it in the air fryer? Do you do it in the regular oven?
I have never used the air fryer for tofu. That's a good idea. And let us know if anybody else has done that. And how do you cook your tofu? Because when you're trying not to use oil, it gets a little tricky.
Right. Yeah. No, I love my air fryer. I feel like ever since I invested in one, I rarely use my oven unless if it's for a holiday dinner. But it's good. So I'm curious to see what everyone else does. Okay. All right. So now I have a little. I'm gonna say I have a little red cabbage that fell into my peanut sauce. Okay, all right, guys. So for the peanut sauce, it's so simple. I'm all about minimal ingredients, really simple with the flavors. And so I use 4 tablespoons of natural peanut butter. I chose the crunchy kind. You can use any brand, but I try to stick with organic, non-GMO, natural peanut butter. Okay, so I've already measured out the 4 tablespoons in here because it's a little messy. You kind of have to, when you buy the natural peanut butter, you kind of have to mix it up because the oil is separated. So you mix that up, and I scooped out 4 tablespoons in here. You're gonna want to use about 4 tablespoons of hot water. So I have some water that I heated up right before the show. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop out 4 tablespoons of hot water. And the reason why hot water is important is because it's going to help kind of break down that peanut butter. I don't know if you've ever tried mixing, cold peanut butter with water. It doesn't look very beautiful. It's clumpy. It's kind of weird looking. So the hot's going to help melt everything and blend everything really well. Okay, so we got the 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, 4 tablespoons of hot water. Now, I like to use, you can use soy sauce or tamari, again, organic. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon into my dish. And I'm following you along. Perfect. And then I'm gonna go ahead and for my sweetener, I just use a simple maple syrup. And I get mine from Costco because you get this big jug and it's such a great value and it's organic. So that's a plus. All right, so 1 tablespoon. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna mix this up now.
And I know that some people might have restrictions or try to avoid, maple syrup, for example.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so I actually with the sauce, guys, I substituted a lot with, if you have any peanut allergies or any other allergies, I've made this sauce with almond butter, with tahini. So it tastes great. It's just, the base nut butter, or, you don't have to use peanuts, which is, and they all taste good. I always post about different options. So you guys, my water wasn't too hot to see how it's kind of clumpy. Sorry, I might have to heat this up in the microwave. It looks gross, but I promise you it's good.
Yes. How's mine looking? Because it took me a while of stirring for it to kind of mix.
Yeah.
That's
how it should look like. Look at Maya's. Don't look at mine. I'll be right back.
Okay. Also, I think your ingredient calls for like something spicy if you wanted to, like sriracha.
Yes. Yep. I like to put sriracha in my sauce. I'll show you guys right here. So this is the brand I use, just Trader Joe's. I usually transfer it into a dish because my husband doesn't like spicy, so I just transfer it in a little dish and then I put it on top. You can actually add other things to it, like garlic if you wanted to, but I like mine simple.
Yes, I understand the difference between like when you have to accommodate a loved one. So I don't use cilantro with my husband either, right, because I've said it before, but it tastes like soap to him. And so, but anyway, and so I love cilantro a lot, but we love spicy, so that's not a problem.
Great. Okay, so mine's starting to look like yours, Maya.
Awesome. This is very good. I think I might want more spicy in mine.
Oh yeah, do it.
I don't know how spicy it's supposed to be, but
it's preference. Some people like it spicy, some don't. So whatever you want. You can even put chili flakes in it if you want. But yeah. So and the consistency. I mentioned earlier, my husband and I work 10-hour shifts. So coming home from work, we don't really have a lot of time to cook. So I'll actually make big batches of this. I'll store it in the refrigerator, and sometimes this is a little bit thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more water actually. So if you do decide to prep this for the week, it does kind of get thick again. So you just add a little bit hot water, and it. So I prefer that consistency. Not too thick, not too runny, but it's preference. It's whatever you guys like. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and scoop this into a little dipping sauce because I want to show you my pretty sriracha swirly. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Okay. All right. So I mix this and then Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks. And then if you want, you can just put a little bit of cilantro. You don't have to, but I think it looks pretty. So
I like it.
That's the first sauce.
Yes. It's like how they said, that we also eat with our eyes, right? So when the food is even more appealing and beautiful and attractive, then we just are drawn to enjoying the food.
Right.
So I
Yes.
have a couple of comments that people have been posting. So some people have said that they actually use the air fryer, and Paola said that she likes to marinate hers and then bake it. So
Oh.
if you would like to share with us, like she said at 400 degrees, if you guys like to share like how long you leave it in the air fryer and what setting you use. And also there was a question here. So if you're allergic to peanuts, which a lot of people are, can you use almond? And I think you said you have, right, Dr.
Yes. Yes.
Ann?
Yeah. I actually use almond butter quite a bit. I love almond butter. I've used tahini, which is a ground up sesame seed. I've used hazelnut. So yes, you don't have to use peanut butter, and it tastes great. If you use that combination, you could still substitute it for a different, but nut or nut butter. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, great question.
All right. All right. I just finished doing my swirl too. Here, I'll show you. Let me,
Oh, I want to see.
yeah, cameras here. So I should probably, so I've never been in like this. My mouth is watering.
I love it. All
Okay.
right, so you want to go to the second sauce? This is the
Yes.
other sauce that I really enjoy. This is called nuc cham in Vietnamese. You can eat it with vermicelli noodle bowls with fresh vegetables. I like to eat it with rice and vegetables. So actually both sauces I use quite a bit in several different dishes. So for this one, you're gonna want to use 4 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. So that's kind of the fish sauce substitute for me. And it's important to use low sodium because I feel that the regular sodium is too overbearing. And for people who might have allergies to soy or can't, or just don't want to have soy, coconut aminos is another great option. With that one, coconut aminos are a little sweeter, so you don't need. My recipe does call for maple syrup, but you kind of want to taste it and see if you just. When I use the coconut aminos, I don't even add any sweetener because the coconut aminos are already sweet. Yeah. Okay, so 4 tablespoons of the low sodium soy sauce, and then I have an organic rice vinegar, and I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of this.
And I use the same thing, only mine is pre-measured already, but I use that same brand that you have.
Ooh, perfect. Okay, 2 tablespoons. And then 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. And I do like to put Thai chilies, which I'll show you what they look like. They're very spicy. These are definitely optional, guys. I grew up eating these with everything. My recipe calls for 1, but you don't have to do it. So I have some, I'm gonna cut some up. You want these really finely chopped if you do end up using these. And then the recipe, traditionally, the nuc cham also includes garlic. So I'm gonna put a little bit of minced garlic in here for you guys.
So those Thai chilies, I couldn't find them obviously at Whole Foods. Do you find them at Sprouts or any particular store if you don't have like an Asian market nearby?
That's a great question, Maya. I actually found these at the farmer's market.
Oh, you did? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got these before my surgery, so they're still in my fridge. But that's a good question. If you don't have them, you could probably use jalapeno or some other pepper if you want that spice. Or you can just use some dried peppers like chili flakes, which I've done too, like in the winter when they're not in season.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can use dried ingredients as well.
That reminds me of now that you're talking about jalapeno slices, perhaps. I remember that when there's a market that I used to go to where I would have some of the vegan, pop stickers. I can't think right now. And the sauce would be a soy sauce with slices of jalapeno. And so, I can see I can do that as well. Or I'm going to grab some chili flakes since I have those.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I just like that spice. And it sounds like you guys like spicy. So that's a nice hint of flavor. So I'm going to chop this up. This is a lot of garlic. I probably won't use all of this. And you don't have to use garlic. My husband doesn't like this. He likes it simple, so I just make that sauce without the chili and garlic for him. But I like the garlic, so I'll just add a little bit here. And my chilies. Okay, and then I'm gonna mix this. All right, guys, so that's my second sauce right here.
That's beautiful. I have both of mine as well. You're doing such a great job. Thank you for sharing these recipes.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so looks like we've got everything. I've already finished cooking the tofu. These are done. So let's go ahead and go to the fun part and roll these. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna move this over.
And let me ask you, as you're cleaning up and stuff, so I've heard that people actually have like spring roll parties or rolling parties, and that's why they use some like the roller, the spring roll gadget that we're going to use. Is that true?
Oh yeah, So I remember growing up, going to family friends' homes, and we would have spring roll parties, literally, and we would all, not everyone, but whoever would want to would sit down at a large table, and we would just roll spring rolls. And it's actually pretty fun. So I definitely did that growing up, and I kind of still do mini ones. So yes, you can do
that. I just remember I picked up my gadget a long time ago. I don't even know where, because I'm always picking up gadgets. And then I found that it was so much easier to like wet the rice paper and roll. And I guess you'll show us the technique. But I already have my warm water in here.
Perfect. So So you can, if you don't have this, you don't have to use it. You can use a deep bowl. You just kind of have to maneuver the rice paper a little bit just to make sure it gets wet. You can, of course, with clean hands, you just want to make sure you use your fingers and get the whole rice paper wet. Otherwise, if you're rolling it and it's dry, it's gonna crack. So for this one, I noticed that I have to fill it up quite high. Otherwise, when you turn it around, there's a middle part that doesn't get wet, but that's not a big deal. Let me switch camera views and I'll show you what I mean.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, that was one of the things that I'm familiar with mine because I've used it before, but I agree with you that you have to kind of make sure, and maybe you just answer the question that the other person had, which is, why is it that sometimes they tear?
Yes. So you want to make sure they're wet. It's kind of one of those things where you want to roll them. It's a fine art. You get better, as the more often you do it. But okay, so you see how I rolled it around, but typically if my water's down here, I just use my fingers and I just kind of go like that and make sure it's, oh, this one's pretty cracked, guys. Here, that's okay though. I'll show you guys a way to hide that, no problem.
My sheet has, I'm following your steps, and one of my sheets already has a hole, and I just natural, right? I mean, these things happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely A-okay. So so what I do when I put the rice wrap on the surface, I kind of pat it down because sometimes these don't get wet all the way, So I like to use warm water in not super scorching hot because you don't want to melt this plastic, but you want to use warm water because it's going to speed up the process of your rice paper getting soft. All right, so let's see. So I have my tofu over here, all done and ready. This is cooled down by now. I like so the key thing with this is it doesn't matter if it's perfect, but I set my ingredients towards the bottom, maybe like the bottom third. So let's put some tofu if you do want tofu. And then here's some, I'm going to use a little bit of avocado. So I tend to put my colorful ingredients towards the front because when you roll them, you're going to see the pretty pops of color. And do some purple cabbage. And you don't want them too fat because if they're too fat, they'll be difficult to roll. And I got my rice noodles over here that I'm going to bring over. So with these, I just cooked them ahead of time, but I guess you can find these really anywhere. I got these at a health food store. You boil water, let them cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. You drain them, and then you can rinse cold water over them so they don't keep on cooking. Okay, so all right. So you guys see my
yes, it looks great.
Great.
This is one of those times where you have to remind yourself it's not a burrito, so you don't have to put a ton of stuff or it'll be hard to roll.
Right. All right. So the key thing with this is you want to make sure your rice paper is as close as possible to your ingredients. And so you see I'm using my fingers and I'm pushing in the ingredients as I roll. So because I want it to be nice and tight. So I'm kind of like going like this, with my fingers. And then the sides, this is where I fold it over. I want to fold it perpendicular like that. And then same thing on the other side like that. And then I continue rolling. So these are darker. When you use the regular rice, the white rice, you can see the ingredients better, but this is you kind of get the idea, right?
And we wanted to provide the option of the brown rice because we know that the goal is always to be, more whole, unprocessed. That's always the goal, but you don't have to shoot for perfection.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll show you mine, Dr.
Yes.
And yes, so here's mine. I did say that I need to work on the rolling.
Good.
Yeah. And so I have, like you, I have both packages. I have the regular rice paper that you can find almost anywhere now. And then the Vietnamese, the brown paper we found at Sprouts and other places. I'm sure they're more easy.
Perfect. Yeah. No, we have both kinds too. And then they have these little small ones by the Three Ladies brand. Those are kind of fun. They're a little bit harder to roll, but those are fun too. So yeah, definitely lots of different options. So for this one, I'm gonna pretend the tofu. Let's say you can't have soy. I do have some friends who can't have soy, so not a problem. You can do different ingredients. So for this one, I'm just gonna do avocado, carrots. And they don't all have to be the same. That's kind of the fun thing. It's like a surprise. You open it up. Let me see. What are you going to get today?
So, Dr. Ann, I have said also that I love these for traveling. Like when I've traveled to Hawaii, it's very restrictive. You can't eat anything on the plane, and you have to prepare for a 6-hour flight, depending on where you're at. These are great for traveling, aren't they?
They are. Do you make them in your hotel or?
No, like I mean traveling, like for example, just to get to the airport, to have something from the time you're traveling to the airport, during your your flight, and then maybe when you land, there's a whole gap of time where you can't, you're restricted in terms of healthy foods. And so I like to snack on foods like this.
Yeah.
This is one of the things. I mean, there are other things that I enjoy taking as well.
Yeah, no, I have eaten these on the road before. I guess with these, the tricky thing is because the rice paper, you can't wait to, I've noticed that the rice, it can get a little bit, the paper can get a little bit soggy.
Yeah.
But I have made these, the day of, and I'll package them up, and yeah, I'll definitely eat them right there.
The day of, or like you said, maybe, and I have traveled with the rice paper as well. And if you can do it at this also is easy to do at your hotel, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, you can pre-cut the vegetables ahead of time, and the cool thing is you don't even have to cook if you don't want to. You don't have to have the rice noodles. You don't have to have the tofu. If you have some fresh ingredients laying out, it's such a cool thing, fun, easy thing to do, and the options are endless. And
I wish I could really perfect the rolling, but that's where I need a lot of practice. And I said to you, because I love vermicelli bowls as well. I was like, oh, everything we have, we can just throw it in a bowl and have a vermicelli bowl with. They add there's the vegan fish sauce, and then top them with peanuts if you're not allergic.
Right, absolutely, yeah. So if you I do often eat vermicelli bowls if I don't feel like wrapping, because sometimes that takes some time too. I mean, the good thing is you make your veggies ahead of time, but if you want to make it really quick, that's awesome too, to just have a bowl, like a rice bowl, and instead of rice bowl, you have the noodles, you have it in your bowl, and you put all the same ingredients and the same sauce, and they are fantastic. So.
Such a great way to sneak raw veggies into your diet.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I have, family members who prefer, not eating raw vegetables, but when you have a good sauce, that's the key. And when it's colorful, then it's, so I'm going to watch you wrap yours, Maya.
Okay, teacher. I was just about to. Is mine too fat?
No, go ahead. Let me see.
Okay, so I know you said to kind of do this, right?
Yes.
Ooh, I think I tore it a little bit because I might have pushed it too much. And then now taking the sides.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I might have, it's so hard to not add a lot of ingredients in here and have it be.
That's the thing. Exactly. Yeah.
And I added lettuce to mine.
Yeah, I forgot to add lettuce to my first one. So, oops. That's okay. It's a surprise. And, you don't know what you're getting until you bite into it.
Right. I'll do one more. This time I'm going to use the clear paper. Just and I've seen, Dr. Ann, that some people make these beautiful decorative rolls where they add flowers, edible flowers, and other things like that. So have you ever done anything like that?
I haven't done the flowers. No, but I kind of, you know what? I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it.
I used to use edible flowers in my cooking back in the day. Now I don't know. I need to do that as well. So now I'm going to put the camera back on you so that everyone can see your technique again. Okay. And then we can do like a little tasting here.
Yeah, sure.
But my dog likes tofu. I just thought I'd put that in there.
Oh, wow.
I don't give him much because I don't know if I looked it up. Supposedly it's safe, but I know that the calories can be high when it comes to tofu. So, but we found it really interesting. He likes edamame too.
Oh, wow. Oh, so is he a vegan dog?
Well, we're transitioning him because, as you know, we got him when he was 4.5 months. And so right now he's just turned 8 months. And so we didn't know how to transition him, but we receive all sorts of emails from, say, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine on how animals can actually be vegan. So I know there's no controversy about that, but we give him everything. He loves broccoli.
That's awesome.
He buries his broccoli because it's a favorite treat of his. So he wants to have it. Like, we're the ones giving you the broccoli. Why are you having it for lunch?
Amazing. Wow. So he loves his veggies. You know, Maya, I actually just found out about the vegan for dog things.
Yes.
When I went to San Francisco for my surgery, we stopped by at a friend of ours. He has a vegan restaurant. It's called, what is it called? Sky Cafe for anyone who's in San Francisco. But anyway, so he told my husband and me that his dog was vegan, and he's also, the dog is maybe barely a year old, but I noticed his fur, everything was so healthy, and he said, yeah, my dog's vegan. I'm like, what? I didn't know that was possible. So yeah, he actually cooks the food. Like you said, broccoli. He cooks it, and he does give the dog some kibble for the teeth, because of the teeth.
Yes.
Make sure you have some.
There's vegan kibble too. Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
We have it as well, that brand. I was going to go back to what you just said about, so there's a recipe that a vegan recipe, and I don't want to take too much time, for dogs that I actually want to I want to make it live, like a cooking show. And it's very popular, and it has, I'm going to switch to my face too. And it has lentils and sweet potato, and you add the flaxseed so that they can have that, the healthy fat for their coat and everything. And so I even said to Riz, I'd love to have like a cooking show or a segment where I teach how to make vegan dog food. Anybody would be interested in that. But I was wondering if we could just ask, what ingredients do you guys like in your spring rolls, and do you make them yourself? I think that'd be interesting to know.
Oh, for our listeners?
Yeah, so anyway, I'm done rolling. I have 4 because I am going to eat these, and I don't want them. I'm going to make some for Riz, but later.
Yes, yeah. So this is my dish, guys, with the 2 different sauces. I just transferred everything into these dipping dishes. My 4 rolls. So let's try these.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. And so mine are also, here we are. I wanted to show everyone mine, and I have both sauces, but one of my bowls is a little big here.
Okay.
Maybe I'll take a photo after or another time later. But yes, let's give it a try. My mouth is watering just thinking about the food.
I'm going to take a picture right now.
It's so funny because my husband's always like, you want to take a photo? Like, I'll cook something, we'll plate it, and he's like, you want to take a photo? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, yes, I do want to take a photo. Because, like we said, that's how you convince people to eat healthier options. If you make the food look beautiful. And of course, it's always tasty. Okay, so.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Which sauce are you going to have first?
I'm going to do the peanut because it's my favorite. Oh my gosh. And then the red sauce and the sriracha. Awesome.
Okay, here goes. Like it?
Mm-hmm. My mouth is full now.
At least with the braces, I might have cilantro in my teeth in a little bit.
Now I'm going to dip to this one, which I use the red pepper flakes, not the jalapeno slices, but I'm going to add those later because I love it spicy. I love the kick. Wow. Oh my goodness. I've never made these sauces.
So easy, right?
Oh, I've tried, but not good like this.
Okay.
So really good. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Let's see if anybody has questions. Vegan recipes for dogs would be a great idea. Thank you, Crystal. If you have, I have a couple of recipes I want to share that you can make on instant using the Instant Pot. And I do realize you can still use the vegan kibbles mixed up. I typically do that with my dog because I'm new to having a dog, but my husband says they always need the kibbles for their teeth and things like that. And there are vegan brands, PetSmart, which I don't like to promote anybody like that, but they have a couple of vegan food there too for the animals. Someone said, I've never made a spring roll, but I will now that you've seen it. Thank you, Salazar. I'm so happy that you're going to make it. It's fairly easy. I mean, here's the thing. If you enjoy being in the kitchen with loved ones like we do, it's soothing. I actually love chopping. The whole process of preparing is really nice for me, and which is why I like cooking like this with people. We have a comment from Crystal. Let's see, I have to put on my glasses. She says, I like my rolls with all the veggies, like all of them. Yeah, awesome. So anyway, so all the veggies, if there's something that we could have put in here that you think we could have made, would have made it taste, let us know. And I'm going to include again, here is the link, and I put it in the chat. This is the link to Dr. Ann's Happi Hippo website with the blog that has the recipe for this, and I'll include it again in the chat here. Does anybody have any questions or comments? What did you think about this recipe? Here's the link. And do you want to talk any more about Happi Hippo?
Sure. Yeah.
And also, I wanted to share real quick about how you.
Oh, oops.
I loved how vulnerable you were in terms of sharing your process that you just experienced with your health. I think it's so important. I'm part of the Women's Health Committee interest group for the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And these are sort of the topics that we always want to bring to the forefront and say, this is what women continue to deal with. And, we never know why we suffered so much with menstrual cramps and other things related to female health. But we know that when we clean up our diet, we sort of start to feel better. And I told you, Dr. Ann, that I suffered with menstrual cramps my entire life. And then I went vegan. And I think getting the sugar out, getting the oils out, getting a lot of the processed food out of my diet is what improved my health. And now that I'm going into menopause, I'm not having the symptoms of menopause, the hot flashes and mood swings. And I think it's because I cleaned up my diet. So I'm glad that you shared, if you want to touch any more about it, that you can share it on IG, your journey.
Yeah. So that's why I've gone plant-based. As you know, I had this surgery a little bit 2 weeks ago because the damage was done, the lesions, the masses. Once you get to a point, you can't really reverse it, but I was able to reverse a lot. So I plan on continuing to eat the plant-based lifestyle diet so that these things don't grow back. I will say that, like Maya mentioned, you just increase the quality of your life when you reduce all the inflammatory factors, which can come from meat, can come from processed foods, that sort of thing. So so the link is in is shown in the post that I put out.
Yes.
And it does go to my Happi Hippo Plant Organics, which I'm gonna pull over here. So during my medical leave, which is like, I can't sit still. I have to admit, I think that I'm stronger than I really am, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. But I've been formulating different body care products, such as bath tea. So this is like a spice orange bath tea, and it comes with a mucin bag and a scoop because the little chunks of orange and spices can get into your bathtub and clog it. So it's just fun stuff. It's my fun thing that gets my mind off of dentistry. And we have lip balms, toothpaste, and then some body lotions shaped in flowers. So that's all.
I wanted to say that I received a sample of your products when you first were focusing on the dental, so the toothbrush and the flosses and all of that, and also the lip balms, because a lot of those products, when you buy them in the store, they're not vegan. And I love the idea, that one right there, it's so cute, and they come in different flavors. I love the idea of supporting small vegan businesses, and I love the name Happi Hippo. I thought that was a cute name for your product. But now you've expanded. So you went from just the dental to now having other body products and that are eco-friendly.
Yep, two-piece tablets. Yep. So it's just fun, and a percentage of sales goes to plant trees with one tree planted. Yes.
I love that. Wow. Well, this was awesome. I want to thank everyone that joined us. I hope that you learned something and that you'll ever, get your children involved in preparing this, or your significant other, because they're fun, and they're, it's a wonderful way of getting raw veggies in your diet and then feeling good, and they're tasty. So, and Dr. Ann, thank you so much for everything that you do. And you just came out of surgery and you're here with us today. And so I appreciate you so much. And she was on our podcast, but she was also on the Thrive podcast with Dr. Colin Zhu. And she did a whole presentation about dental health. I really recommend. It's probably linked in your Happi Hippo or somewhere there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So you had a wonderful, very detailed presentation about dental health and what we eat and how foods affect our teeth and all that. So thank you again, everyone, for watching us today.
Thank you.
Okay, it takes me a while to figure out how to. I'm talking while I'm clicking because I know people are still watching, but let me switch here. And that was a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, so much.